Right off the bat, I'm gonna have to say, at least they tried. Um, I didn't get the impression from Winnie and the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and I did not get that impression, especially from Mousetrap. That movie was something else. But let's get into it. The movie opens up with the typical story about Sidney Lou finding the Grinch, mistaking him for Santa Claus, and giving him a gift. But it doesn't end there. The Grinch accidentally kills her mom because the mom rightfully is like, oh, there's a fucking dude in my house and he's green. So she tries to beat him up. The Grinch's makeup in this movie looks amazing. At times it looks like a cheap mask, and other times it looks amazing. It's by far the best part of the movie. The main actor that plays Sydney, you know who. She's not the greatest. Not the greatest actor. She plays a stunt double for Ronda Rousey, apparently, which I can see it. She was doing pull-ups in one scene, and I thought she looked like Ronda Rousey. This movie started out as a fan trailer, but people loved it, so they made a movie. That doesn't typically happen. There's been a few things I can think of, but I can't think of them by name. It's very rare in the horror genre for a fan man trailer to get made into a movie, at least from what I know. And this movie tried. The kills weren't very good in my opinion. Besides two of them, I like the meat grinder one and the very last one, which I will talk about later, obviously. The dad apparently doesn't wake up when his wife gets killed and his daughter's screaming and blah blah blah, or at least doesn't get into a confrontation with the Grinch, because we find out not too long later she's visiting her town with her dad. He gets killed not too long later because he hangs up some Christmas decorations, and apparently Grinch kills anybody that hangs up Christmas decorations. Kind of silly, in my opinion, and he became like a serial killer with the thirst for blood because he accidentally killed someone all those years ago. Kind of weird. It's a horror movie, so we gotta get some more kills, and we gotta have an excuse now because of the fact that they've set up that people don't celebrate Christmas in this town. So nobody's gonna put up stuff to get killed. So the way they set it up is some people from out of town come in and they're wearing Christmas, Christmas shit like elf outfits and Santa outfits and a straight up inflatable tree. Don't know when he got there, but he did. And Grinch kills all of them. CGI blood shit. Makes sense because it's lower budget. I'm not going to blame them for that. But I will not say it looks good. I'm not a liar. Does not look good. I still liked the meat house kill, like him shoving the girl in the meat grinder. Nonetheless, I still think it was fun. We get two more kills, and they gotta go way out of their way to make them work. The first one really goes way out of its way. This guy is working at a restaurant, and he orders bell peppers. But instead of bell peppers, he gets bells, jingle bells. Is what he refers to them as. I don't know if that's what they're actually called in the real world, but that's what he calls them. He's like, you didn't get me bell peppers, you got me jingle bells. That just sounds wrong. So, yeah, he fucking shakes them, they ring, and now, the Grinch wants to kill him, so he does. And he does it in a really over-the-top way, cutting off all of his body parts and stuff. And he even zips it up in a box or something. You'd think that would get the typical horror reveal later where somebody opens the box and screams, but nothing happens with that. Not disappointed, just pointing it out. There's this Mayor bitchy character that really adds nothing to the movie. I mean, it's a big plot twist that she's been helping the Grinch kill people. And the entirety of her character is just oh, she puts a button on people and people don't like it. I didn't really care for her character. She, well, her car breaks down and the radio suddenly turns up to 43. Not only that, it turns up to Christmas music. So she gets out of the car to try and fix it, and she closes the hood, and before she can get back in the car, the Grinch attacks her because of her Christmas music. Can the Grinch teleport or something? Because she's supposed to be leaving town, and he lives in, like, way up high in the mountains. Why would he be all the way down here? None of the last, he kills her, so she's dead now. There's a little, funny gag. She's got a mirror button in her mouth now. She's dead now. Nobody cares. The sheriff character gets killed. Funnily enough, I usually don't notice, cheaply done things when it comes to like hair or stuff, but we get introduced to him in a flashback. He's got like a small mustache and it's brown. But since this is supposed to be years and years later, when we're introduced to his character, he's just got like badly dyed gray beard shit. Like he's supposed to be old. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't take me out of the movie. He ends up getting killed by the Grinch, finally acknowledging some of the wrong he's done, because apparently he was in on the Grinch killings too. And I don't really know why they added that. And, he kind of shoots while singing a Christmas song. And the Grinch kills him. They go back to help him because they're like, oh shit, we can't leave him behind. And they find his arm, and then they're like, yeah, he's dead, and run away. He could have just got his arm ripped off. He could have still very much been alive. But whatever, they leave him behind. I think movie-wise, he definitely was dead. But reality-wise, he could have been alive and Grinch just ripped his arm off. They have this relationship with this Jewish guy and Sydney. I think it's kind of forced. I don't think it really works very well. But whatever. We have a scene with Sydney getting a bunch of stuff like bow and arrows and shit. She doesn't really use most of it. She uses a gun and like ornament grenades. There's this character named Doc Zeus, clearly a reference to Dr. Seuss. There's other references to Dr. Seuss stuff, like a bar is called Horton's, like Horton Hears a Who. There's a bowl with red and blue fish in it, like the book Red and Blue Fish. Stuff like that. They clearly care about the stuff they're referencing and dealing with, unlike Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That movie was something else, but at least it was still fun to watch. Anyways, we get the little final battle with the Grinch. She sees he's still wearing the gift he gave her all those years ago. I mean, the gift she gave him all those years ago. So now she shows mercy, and I guess she realized that it was an accident when he killed her mom. But that doesn't change, like, the probably hundreds of people he's killed since then. Like, you should want to get revenge for those people, even though you didn't really know them. But she shows forgiveness and says she forgives him, but the problem is it ends just like the fairy tale says, and his heart grows 3 sizes and fucking explodes inside of him. Because in reality, that would definitely kill you. And I think that's a great way to kill off the Grinch, though once again, the effect didn't look the greatest. The movie ends with some dumb sequel bait line where they talk about how everybody's safe until next year. Grinch is dead. Why are you doing this? They also have a joke where they reference the Grinch. I do find it dumb that they repeat it, especially since Doc Seuss's character says he prefers to call the Grinch the mean one. But he tries to call the Grinch twice, and the bartender stops him by saying, Mr. Finch, whatever. Kind of a reference. It was funny the first time, but the second time, it wasn't very funny. And funnily enough, the bartender is a character from the Jim Carrey's Grinch movie. It's kind of cool. I personally hate how iconic Jim Carrey's version of the Grinch has become. Like, I still think it's a pretty decent movie, but I always preferred the cartoon when I was little. So now every day when someone talks about the Grinch, it's always Jim Carrey's version, which is just a little nitpick I wanted to say. But I think they tried with this movie, um, and that's what's important. Would I recommend watching it? Probably not, unless you're interested in seeing what a Grinch horror movie would look like. And even then, I don't think the kills were anything to write home about. But then again, it's a low budget movie. They still tried with the kills. A lot of horror movies that are good horror movies still have very bad kills in them, but this movie had some pretty good ones.